How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Baseball Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Keith DeMolder, with a special guest today, a non-league guest on the pod today. We're bringing a Twitter, kind of mainstay, really, for the Bahds and for the rest of the league. It is at Bulk Guy on Twitter, joining us from Massachusetts. How we doing, Mark? You're here today with us.
Good, Keith. Thanks for having me. I'm a bulk guy in the house.
So, kind of a funny sort of thing in finding you on Twitter. There's a couple of bulk pages on Twitter, whether that's like Bulk Daddies or, Bulk Bot or something like that. But we came across your page because I feel like you're consistently one of the guys that posts bulk sort of pictures for those folks out there who don't know what a bulk pitcher is. Can you just tell us a little bit about what is a bulk guy?
Yeah, so a bulk pitcher is a guy that comes in the second or third inning. His job is to give 4 or 5 innings after the starter, after the opener. And he's usually in line to pitch, 4, 5, 6 innings, hopefully snipe a win, hopefully get a couple innings in, get a couple strikeouts. Usually the bulk guys are not good enough to be good starters and not good enough to be closers. So they're kind of wild cards. But if you have a league that has restrictions on how many starters you can have a week, it's really a cheat code to getting extra innings in.
So when we found your page, I mean, you're at Bulk Guy. There's a ton of people on Twitter that make these pages, whether it's like, their full-time thing, they're trying to make like a website or a podcast or whatever it may be. But yeah, curious on the creation of the page. Have you always been kind of interested in posting on Twitter? Tell me more about how you created the site.
so, so no, Twitter was completely foreign to me. I had no idea how to use Twitter. I wasn't even on Twitter. I was in a points league, and I played a guy, and he started Cooper Criswell. Do you remember Cooper Criswell?
That's right, Boston
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, he was with Tampa Bay at the time, and I was laughing. I'm like, Cooper Criswell. I mean, who's this guy? Then the next day, I look at the score, and the guy had like 20 points. I'm like, holy crap! How did he know he was going to score points? How did he even know he was going to pitch? So I started looking everywhere. I was on Reddit, I was on Instagram, I was on Facebook, just looking for any, Google, everything I could think of to try to figure out. And I looked up Twitter, and there was an account called Opener Alert. You ever follow that guy?
No, no.
Yeah. So Opener Alert was doing what I'm doing now. He was the first guy to do it, and as far as I know, he was the only guy to do it. And I followed him, and I was getting all the openers and all the bulk guys. And Opener Alert one day said, "I'm going on vacation with Mrs. Opener Alert," and he never came back. So I had to kind of take it on myself. I'm like, well, I'm doing it anyway, so why don't I just kind of share this? So, maybe I'll be the new Opener Alert. And I started off getting like 5 followers, and 10, then 20. And my kid's like, Dad, you got to use like a hashtag to get people to follow you. I'm like, I don't really care. I'm not doing it to get followers or clicks. Just doing it because I think it's a cool thing to do, and I think it's a cheat code to the game. If I can help people out, then let's do it. So one thing led to another. I went from 50 to 100. I think the first year, maybe I got to 500 or 600 followers, and now we're closing in on like 3,000. So it was just it kind of happened by chance. There was no goal to monetize. There's no goal to blow up or sell or anything like that. It was just kind of a hobby I was doing anyway. So I'm like, well, might as well share it out.
Right. Yeah. Kind of spread the good word, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and met a lot of nice people through this too. A bunch of guys kind of catching on now. So yeah, it's a good time. It takes up
Now,
it takes up a lot of my time, honestly. Believe it or not, I'm on Twitter now. I've become a bit of a Twitter pro between who I'm following and kind of the process of trying to figure out who's bulking and trying to get the news out there, not only first but accurately. So it does take up a lot of time, but I have a good time with it. So
yeah, and certainly worth it. I mean, we can say we've utilized your services multiple times in our matchups, so definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I'm curious on the PFP, the profile picture, the avatar on your page. Is that Jamie Moyer? Who's that guy in your profile picture?
I think it's Corey Seager.
Okay.
Corey Seager, I think. So initially I had my own face up there, and I didn't want people in my league to know who the bulk guy was if they were to join. So I just changed it to some random guy and just threw the picture up of that guy. I think it's Seager.
Gotcha. Okay, so not even a bulk player, just
Nope,
a guy that you like.
just a random guy. And maybe it could be Jamie Moore. Love Jamie Moore.
Yeah, who
How many
would be?
how many
Oh,
teams has
sorry.
Jamie Moore played for?
Oh my goodness, a lot. I mean, I remember him mainly on the Mariners back in the day.
Yeah, he had a couple stints with the Sox too. I think he didn't even pitch last year.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he's been
Hmm.
around. Crafty lefty.
Who would you say, just, given your, yeah, if you could come up with like a Mount Rushmore or maybe like a top five bulk guys ever, maybe guys that you picked up that got you the win sort of thing, or just guys that you've always liked bulking with?
Well, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Detroit I think it was last year. Maybe it was the year before. Either way, Detroit was going through their end of the season. They were on a run. They were, I think, at the halfway point. They were maybe 500, maybe even below 500, and they started bulking. It was guys like Herter. I think maybe Brisky was in there, and that's really where it was like every 2 days they had a consistent bulk guy. So that was probably my top team for bulking. They would do it, and they would do it um, consistently. So that's the team that I really relied on back in the day. My favorite bulk ever was actually one of your guys. Now he's with the Padres, I think, right? Nick Pivetta.
That's right.
Yeah. So I honor Nick Pivetta every year, National Bulk Day, July 17th. He pitched in 2023 for the Red Sox, and he was struggling, so they threw him in the bullpen. He became the bulk guy for them. I don't know who opened up the game, but it was against Oakland. He ended up getting me 35 points in my points league, which is a huge. I mean, that's like three times what you can normally expect from a decent bulk appearance. He had like 13 Ks. He got the win, no hits, two base on balls. So he's the bulk pinnacle. And Kumar Rocker actually this year almost exceeded the Nick Pivetta role, but he's back in the starting rotation now, so we're going to keep an eye on him.
I remember, yeah, it's funny you mentioned those 20, I think it was 2024 Detroit Tigers with Brant Herter, because that was our guy
Mm.
down the stretch. Like, I
Yeah,
think he had a no hitter going, like 7 innings, no hits. I mean, I don't know how many Ks he had, but that was massive for our team back in
yeah,
the
they had like three or four guys there that were bulking all the time. I think they probably only
Montero.
had Keeter. It was Keeter Montero. No, he was with the Pirates maybe back then. Yeah, but they were consistently every 2 or 3 days. And my point totals just took off at the same time because not only were they bulking, but they were bulking good. They were getting points. They weren't, these bulk guys they can blow up. You can end up getting really do I get negative points, but you can end up getting 3, 4, 5 points sometimes. Those guys were getting consistently 15, 16 points a game.
Yeah, just an incredible ad, especially, in a league where maybe you're maxed out on starts that week and you don't want to drop guys, but you also want to get points. Like, it is such a valuable commodity that people don't, I feel like, is underutilized in the fantasy baseball community.
Totally. So in my league, if you at the end of the week, if you have 800 points, you're usually going to win. If you can bulk 7, let's say eight guys, and they each get 10 points, that's 80 points. So you're getting 10% more than the rest of the league just by bulking. I mean, it's 10% will get you a win almost every week. That's the way I look at it. I Keith, I barely even carry any relievers, any closers, because they'll sit on the bench, they'll pitch twice a week, they'll get you 15, 16 points a week. And the draft equity and a closer is too much. I mean, what the guy from Cleveland go this year in your league? Probably in the top 10 rounds.
Well, I think we actually are in a dynasty league, so we're in the third year of the dynasty league.
Oh, okay.
So, but he's one of the top commodities right now because our saves are worth five, which is a pretty decent amount. I mean, I don't know if that's the same for your guys' league, but
Yeah.
they're pretty penny. I mean, you get a guy like Kate Smith, yeah, gets a save, gets maybe 2 or 3 Ks. That's 11 points right there. So,
Right. But put that in perspective. He pitches what, three times a week?
yeah.
So he's going to get you 33 points on a good week. You're going to get that from two bulk starts. Even Meatballs Michaelis will get you 10, 15 points a start on occasion. So I'm a big believer in bulking. I don't waste my draft equity. I don't waste my roster spots on closers. To be fair, I do have David Bednar on my roster because maybe I'll trade him later on, but I'm all about the bulk.
Hell yeah. Curious on so you're in a redraft league, it sounds like, for both your leagues, correct?
So my points league, the one where I do primarily bulking, we can keep 8 players a year.
Gotcha.
So we have a roster, I think, of 31 players, and you can keep eight. And there's a draft penalty for the players that you keep. So you need to be kind of strategic about who you're keeping. Like I picked up Connor Griffin and Westerholt this year, intending on keeping them, and they've performed really, really well for me.
Right, right, right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's part of our thing with our league is on Fantrax. We have I want to say our roster size is like a little bit over 60. So we have like 25, maybe 27 like active slots. Then we have seven, I believe seven reserve slots, and then we have like seven IL slots, and then we have like 23 minors slots if I'm
So
doing the
you guys go deep,
Oh yeah, it's insanely deep. I mean, we got guys picking up random minor leaguers you never heard of and just keeping
right?
them year after year. So that's the thing about bulking for the dynasty guys is, yeah, I'd love to have a guy on our squad like a, like a Michaelis, but if he's old, I'd maybe want to roster a guy who's a little bit younger. So that's the whole strategy with us too, because nobody wants
Do,
an old guy.
do you have restrictions on transactions?
Yeah, that's the other thing. We have only five pickups a week,
Okay,
and it's
yeah,
like a free agent budget sort of thing too.
yeah. So you want to stay away from the Eric Feddes of the world
Yeah,
and pick up the like Chad Dallas is going tonight. I have no idea anything about Chad Dallas. We have 8 transactions a week, so I try to do 1 or 2 a day, and then try to save a couple for the end of the week in case I have an injury.
right.
But yeah, I guess you guys need to be a little more strategic on who you're picking up and who you're dropping. But I think that lends to keeping a roster full of guys like Spencer Miles. That's a guy you probably want to keep on your roster, even though he started this week. I mean, he's likely. I think on Saturday I posted from one of their beat writers. He's likely to be in the mix. So I this is the first year I've actually kept both guys on my roster. So I used to just stream them, pick one, drop one, pick one, drop one. This year I'm actually holding on to them because the league's getting a little bit more hip to the game. So they're picking up guys that I would normally have no problem finding. So
Right.
I'm actually rostering a couple guys. They rostered like I got Manaya on my roster right now, and I kept Peterson for a while. Um, I haven't kept Michaelis, but Miles I keep on the roster for now at least. Until until they do 2, 3 starts in a row, then I drop them. Then I'll switch directions.
Yeah, yeah, same. I mean, we picked up Miles as well. We just saw that. It was like, okay, this guy's he's getting pretty good points. He's getting some Ks, and it is frustrating in that kind of transition to my next topic. It's so frustrating when you have a bulk guy who then is transitioned to a starter, like we saw with Miles, and just gets blown up. Um,
Look at today. I mean, did you see the Red Sox game today?
Brian Bayo, exactly, a
What
classic case.
what are we doing? I mean, here's a guy that every start this year has been awful. I mean, everyone. I mean, okay, maybe there's one in April. I think he did okay, but every time since April, he's been terrible. Every time he's bulked, the guy's put up good numbers. He's gone 6, 7, even 8 innings, and he's put up great numbers. I don't know what the Red Sox are thinking. I don't know if it's an Eric Lauer type where they're just sensitive athletes and they just want to be a starter. But man, they're so much better at bulking. I don't understand why they move them back and forth.
Yeah, it's got to be an ego thing, and I think for a lot of guys too, it's about that. Um, I guess sort of routine. Pitchers are routines. Creatures of
Yep.
habit. Where it's like, oh, if I'm starting, like I know exactly how I'm going to prepare. Whereas for the bulk, it's a little bit less. Kind of like because a guy could get shelled in the first inning, and then he gets brought in when he was supposed to be in the second, or maybe the opener goes a little bit longer, so there's a little bit more wiggle room. I can understand from a job perspective how, yeah, change is hard, but if the change is working, especially how like up and down Bayo has been, like why not continue with that? It's
I
baffling.
suspect it's not glamorous to be the bulk guy. I
Yeah.
mean, unless you're me. But if you're actually a bulk pitcher, it's not glamorous. And you were looking for your next paycheck. You don't want to be looked at as a long reliever because I mean, let's face it, bulk guys, long relievers, they're guys that just don't really have a good role. They're not good enough to start. They're not good enough to close, so they end up kind of in that middle relief role where it's kind of low leverage. And when they're up for the next contract, they're not going to get that the big dollar amount because they're a long reliever. So they push back. Look at Lauer, Mlad, Bayo. If you saw his quotes after the game, I mean they just don't want to do it. Although us guys can make a good case for it because they're better in that role.
Right. And that's the thing is for those guys, they don't care about fantasy, whereas that's all we care about.
Right,
They're
right.
looking for their paycheck.
Yeah, Craig Breslow hasn't called me up to ask me my opinion on should they start him or should they bulk him. So,
Well, I feel like he's got more important things to worry about. I mean, we saw with that Harrison trade too. Like
oh what a disaster. I
Yeah,
mean, he's been a mess. I being a Red Sox fan, I don't think that there's been a lot of faith in him. They caught lightning in a bottle last year, and they did well. But Devers for Harrison, and then Harrison for Durbin, essentially. And now Harrison's on my roster. The guy's been pitching great.
he's a beast.
Yeah.
I'm curious on, we mentioned Bayo, yeah, going back to the starter role today. There's Manaea and Peterson who have both been kind of like demoted in a sense. Do you like of Peterson or Manaea? It seems like Manaea's kind of got the edge in terms of like being the starter, but do you see both of them bulking this weekend? I know that's something that we're looking at.
Yeah, I don't. I see Mania bulking, and I see Peterson as kind of like the emergency guy.
Hmm.
Having the Mets they just sent down Tong, so that might open up a spot for Peterson. Right now, I'm sticking with Mania. I actually dropped Peterson. I think Mania is probably the bulk guy going forward. But would I be surprised if they started Mania and used Peterson back in the bulk role? No. That's just one of those where I would just if I were posting right now, I would just say following because I'm just really unsure what they're going to do.
Right.
And the news is spotty. They don't want to commit. So, but right now, my gut says that Mania will bulk and Peterson will be the long guy. But that's remains to be seen.
I'm curious, you mentioned earlier Nick Pivetta was kind of your bulk guy of the year. Who would you say is like the worst bulk ever? Kind of like
Uh,
the bum of the year, like the one that you regret every day.
Eric Fetty a couple weeks ago, or was it earlier this week? I mean, these guys. My job is to give the information on who's bulking. I have no control over how well they do, how many innings they pitch. Hell, the worst one ever was Justin Robleski last year. I had him. I had him down as a bulk. It was reported that he was going to bulk, and he didn't get in the game. So from here on in, when that happens, we call it Robleski. So if you see that so and so got Robleski, that means that he was scheduled to bulk and never got in. So that's the worst. I'm sure that we've had some negatives in there. Rarely. The way I look at it is most bulk guys, even if I'm like Alvarez the other day had a bad night. I think he still got me 5 points, which it's not great, but I mean that's for my league. That's an average player. I mean, it's 5 points is 5 points. It's better than the closer that's been sitting on your bench. So, I mean, not. I'm really not excited about it, but he didn't hurt me. But yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. When people do get mad, sometimes they think that I'll make the decision as to who's bulking, who's not, how they do, and they why'd you pick this guy? Well, I'm just letting you know he's bulking. I have no control over his skill set and how they end up using him. But
I'm
I think if you
curious.
stick with it, more often than not, you're going to win in the bulk game. There's going to be this week's been pretty tough. We haven't hit many. They pitched, they just haven't pitched well. But if you stick with it by the end of the week, you're going to end up on the positive side.
I noticed, I mean, I think I even saw, I think that's your pinned tweet is explaining kind of the bulk picks of the week, and you do it based on kind of hot wing flavors. So do you mind giving us a little taste, no pun intended, on your
Well
kind
done.
of your explanation of the different wing flavors?
So when I started bulk guy, I focused only on bulk guys that were noted by a beat writer that they're going to bulk and come in after an opener. I connected with Waiver Wire Winner. I don't know if you follow him as well. I loved his stuff. He would come up. He would last year. He would give me the top. He would be on Twitter and he would or X and he would give the top four plays of the day. All relief guys. Not my forte. I'm pretty much bulk focused. So we connected over the winter. We decided maybe we try to provide some bulk and then some relief work, some like multiples, best chance to get in the game. So that's actually a waiver wire winners thing. So we just do that together. We don't always agree. Sometimes he posts, I'm like, I don't know about that. But more often than not, he's right, and which is why we partnered together. I think um, the handle bulk guy, I think, gives you a little bit of bulk options daily, hopefully daily, if there is bulk. And if there's not bulk, I think that what waiver wire winner does collectively, we offer kind of the best of both worlds. We offer some multiples. If there's no bulk, pick the first or second guy. If there's bulk, then that's my area of expertise, if you will, if you call it
Yeah,
expertise.
yeah, exactly.
So
Uh,
that's not an easy thing either because the process isn't it's cumbersome, and we all have day jobs. This isn't our full time job. But if you go on Fangraphs, they'll show you who's pitched and when and how many pitches that they pitched, and you kind of figure out who's most likely to pitch. Who's their starter, who's if their starter hasn't gone long in games before, who's their long guy. If he hasn't pitched in a while, maybe he's the guy. So that's kind of the process. But waiver wire awareness guy, this little algorithm. He's smarter than I am, so he has a little algorithm that he can throw out there.
What has been your best Twitter interaction? Like any players ever tweet at you or any like famous people ever like go to your page? Like what was your highlight?
Oh, the highlight is the guy from. Do you are you on Sirius at all?
No.
There's a guy on their fantasy channel. Um, Shoot, I forget his name. He follows me, which I was like, I was so excited because for me, he's famous. He's on the station. God, I forget his name now. Anyways, that's the highlight. That is somebody that actually does this for work, that does this for a living, is following just some ham and egger like me that just started this in his kitchen on a summer afternoon. But I've had some interesting interactions. Most of them are people that are mad at me. I'll throw out a player, he bulks, he blows up, and then again, I'm accused of, doing this for clicks or doing this for money, and I don't earn a dime from this. This is just for fun. It's just a hobby. It's a great community. I've met a lot of nice people. People are appreciative. I do it for that. I don't do it for the clicks. But yeah, people get a little red ass. But Keith, I don't block anybody either. I mean, if you want to, if you want to go after me, go ahead. The choice is yours. You make the decision on your roster, not me. If you don't like my stuff, unfollow me. I'm good. I'll survive.
Exactly. Literally the epitome of don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, I'm just giving you the information, and the information that I get, I don't just randomly throw stuff out there. If I see that a guy's going to bulk, I'll go on Fantrax, I'll go on Twitter, I'll go on Reddit, I'll Google it, I'll go on all the sites, the MLB site. I try to make sure that the information is good before I throw it out there. I'm not always the first guy to throw it out there, but I feel like when I give a go get 'em, it's a pretty solid 95% chance the guy's going to bulk. Am I wrong sometimes? Sure. I mean, I'm not, nobody's 100%, but if I give a go get him, then I think you can feel pretty confident the guy's gonna pitch that day.
Final couple questions I got for you. I guess the first one just is kind of like the future of bulk. I mean, is this something we've seen it with a couple teams in the league? Sometimes it's a matter of just injuries and needing to get that length out of guys to save their bullpen sort of thing. But do you think this is a future in the league? Is that we're going to be seeing more bulks?
Absolutely. I mean, if you go back to 2022 when I first started, so it was 4 years ago, it was happening on occasion. There was an injury. Maybe there was just a set of games, or there's 7 games in a row, and they wanted to give a starter an extra day. It was happening infrequently. Now, I mean, literally every day we're getting 1 to 2. It's a rare day that we get 0. So yeah, I think bulk is here to stay. I think Tampa Bay kind of started it with their opener, and people are like, "What's an opener?" It was very, very unique. But from here on in, it's here to stay. Um, some teams do it more than others. Some don't do it at all. But this year, I think the Sox have done it. Like the Dodgers used to do it. They didn't. I don't think they've done much at all this year. Toronto has been doing it. Milwaukee's not scared to do it. There's some teams that do it with some regularity. Tampa Bay, and then there's some teams, or the Nationals this year. I mean, with Michaelis Alvarez and Little, shoot, they're doing it 2-3 times a week. So yeah, it's here to stay for sure. It's not going anywhere. It's probably it's not your classic 1960s baseball, but I think it's the way things are going to go.
Yeah.
Except they're also trying to manage arms too, right? I mean, guys are pitching 100. If a guy pitches a lot, what, 170, 180 innings a year? Back in the 80s, those guys were pitching 220. So they're trying to manage everything in pitch counts and all that stuff. So yeah, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Curious on Ty Madden. I know he started, but now I guess like with Verlander coming back and for the Tigers, like he might be pushed back to the bullpen. Do you see him as being a bulk guy as well?
Detroit's very comfortable bulking, but he's actually been a pretty good starter too. So, who's in that rotation? Skubal, Flaherty, Montero. When Verlander comes back,
Melton.
Melton, yeah. So I mean, it's possible, but if the guy keeps showing up as a starter, I don't see him going back. That said, he has a couple bad outings, and he's bulked before, so he's a guy I would keep an eye on. I have him rostered. I haven't used him as a starter yet, but I suspect that down the road he probably will bulk again. I think he's a good stash.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, that's all the questions I got for you. I guess any sort of final things for the bulkers out there, and maybe someone who's on the fence about bulking. What can you tell them about hopping on the train?
I call it a cheat code. It really is a difference maker. If you can bulk and bulk consistently, you can't do it just once in a while. I mean, you can, but it's not going to get you the points. But if you bulk consistently, it's really a difference maker between your ham and egger league guy and what you can do. Since I started bulking, I've gone from so when I first started playing fantasy baseball, I was a football guy, and fantasy baseball didn't interest me at all. I think fantasy baseball is way better than fantasy football at this point, and I wasn't very good at it. I hadn't done fantasy baseball in 20 years. Um, and I was middle of the road, even below. Once I started bulking, I'm at the top. The last 3 years, I finished at the top of the league. I mean, when you get in the finals, you never know because a lot of things can happen. But it's a cheat code. You're going to get at a minimum. I would almost promise you that you can get 10% more points than the rest of your league mates just by bulking. And there's so much opportunity now. And if you don't want to pick up every bulk, if you have roster or transaction limits, pick the best five. There's going to be bulks this weekend we don't know about yet, but it's going to happen. So yeah, bulk away.
There you go.
By the
All
way,
right.
I'll throw a couple flowers out there. There's some really good sites out there as well. BulkBot does a great job. Um, Now he blocked me for some reason. I don't know why, but BulkBot does a good job. Uh, Jim uh, Gym Teachers of America,
America.
yeah, he does a good job. Bulk Me Daddy does a good job. So there's some guys out there that I follow that I learned from them too. And we're constantly evolving. This is kind of a new era for Major League Baseball. So and bulk is part of it. So there's a bunch of guys out there doing it, and it's all free. And frankly, BulkBot, I don't know what he does, but he's right on it like immediately when there's a bulk. So he's less interactive. I like to interact with my with the people that follow me. You have a question, throw it out there, and if I'm not working, I'll do my best to get to answer you. I try not to ignore anybody.
Fair enough. The
But bulk
bulk
away.
community, it's as strong as ever, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And just getting stronger, sounds like.
Oh, amen.
All right, folks. That's been Mark, the bulk guy. Appreciate you coming on today.
All right, Keith. Appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
All right, that's been today's edition of the Fantasy Baseball Podcast. We'll talk to you guys soon. Mark, appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.